forgot to record last session, so here we go with this one. Let me just make sure. Yeah, okay. Things are functioning. That's always good. Function is fantastic. Moving hair. Give everyone a chance to settle in by starting sitting as per my usual. For week 4, beginner stretch, winter 2022 edition. Now that I know when I am, let's get used to where we are and who and what. So bring all your existential questions to the mat with you, to your sitting position, cross legs, crossed ankles, whichever one you like. Palms facing up to start. Let your brain run free for a moment. Let it question why, what, where, when, how, whom. And say, okay, brain, I'm gonna go do something else for an hour. Can those questions wait? Thanks. If they can't wait, if the questions are pressing, let them come in and out. That's fine. And just start to pay attention to your body and your breath. Brain will do its thing. Let's focus on body. And start to breathe deep into your abdomen. If you need to put your hands just below your belly button to feel that point where all the air is going to come. Physiologically, the air does not actually come down this far, but that's what we're imagining. Using your diaphragm to make space in the lungs. Remembering to fill up from the bottom first and then let the tops, your lungs, ribs, fill up after. And emptying out all of the air from the lungs and the ribs, the top down first, all the way down to the bottom. Filling up the glass of you from the bottom. And then imagine someone's drinking your air out with a straw, so it comes down from the top. Just like a glass. Just a few cycles, practicing that pattern of breathing. Breathing in through the nose. And out through the mouth. A small amount of air, like you're blowing out a candle. Your inhales and exhales will be slow and controlled. And then start to look over one shoulder, just warming up the neck a little bit. And the other shoulder. Don't have to move with the breath here, but just move slowly back and forth. Just coming to the end of your comfortable range. If it starts to feel uncomfortable, don't look that far. Not a contest. And then head coming back to center, bringing one ear to one shoulder. Again, just go to the point where you might feel a little bit of stretch, maybe a little discomfort, and then come back up, going over slowly to the other side. And just switching back and forth, maybe noticing if your ear comes down further on one side, if one side of your neck feels a little bit tighter than the other, and just notice. Don't have to do anything about it. Not today, anyway. Maybe tomorrow. And then bringing one of your ears to one of your shoulders, doesn't matter which one, and just half neck circles, tucking the chin into the chest as you move through to bring ear to other shoulder. Just doing the front half of the neck circle. And then letting the chin come to chest, head hangs down. And breathe into the back of your head, back of the neck, shoulders, maybe the back. You might be feeling this all the way down to your hips if you're really tight. And sigh. Keeping the chin tucked in, slowly lift up one vertebra at a time. And then lift the nose. Look up to where the ceiling meets the wall right in front of you. You don't have to look any higher than that. And then back to neutral. Bring your hands together, rub them together, get them a little bit warm. We're gonna do some face today. Yeah, head and face. Because we haven't done that yet. My hands are freezing, so I'm gonna do this for a little bit. Ears first, grab onto your earlobes, just give them a good tug. And let them come out. So I'm pinching between my thumb and just the inside of that first knuckle. And just pulling and just letting my fingers slide. And you can pull out as well. This helps stimulate the vagus nerve, which runs all the way down to your gut. Excellent for breathing, relaxation, anxiety, sleep, possibly appetite, lots of things. You can even grab the top of your ears, pull a little bit up, and then swing down. Might be a little bit tight there. That's okay, just gently. And coming back down to the earlobes. And rub your hands together again. Get the fingers a little bit warmer. Super cold. And get your fingers cupped around the ears. Just do a little bit of massage behind and on top. Getting some jaw muscle here. Temporalis, right in the temple. And then some other muscles coming around behind just to help relieve tension in the face, the jaw, the head, the neck. Because everything's connected. Fancy that. Keep breathing. You can sigh or you can blow out the candle. Totally up to you if you want to do the controlled breath. Or if you just want to relieve some tension. If you're alone and you can be loud, you can totally scream here. Just let it out. Just coming into ourselves. Bring the hands together, rub them again. One more. Might do this one a couple of times. This time, really getting the palms of the hands nice and warm. Bring the bottom of the palm of the hand right up under the sides of the jaw and drag down. Open your jaw. Let your jaw open. Bring your fingers all the way down. Mine are freezing, so it's not that pleasant, but I did it anyway. Get my hands to warm up. We'll do that 2 more times. Big breath in. And let your jaw relax as you pull it down. Your mouth isn't opening. If you're still feeling that tension, that's okay. Just try and focus on letting it relax and open just a little bit. You can get it to open all the way. Great. Big inhale in. And exhale. Stretching from the top down today. A couple of shoulder rolls. Maybe if you want full arm circles as well. Getting all of this top warmed up. Notice already if you're feeling a difference in your jaw, your head, the way that your posture is. Maybe you're sitting up a little bit straighter. I know I am. Tension can run from the bottom up or the top down, totally. Diagonally sometimes. All right, inhale, both arms up. Right hand down to the mat. Exhale, side bend over to the right. Just for a moment, inhale, coming through center. Exhale, left hand to the mat, side bend to the left. 3 times. Inhale through center. Exhale to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale left. Inhale center. Exhale right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Coming into our twists. Inhale, arms up towards each other here. Exhale, a little twist over to the right. So left hand coming to right knee, however much of a twist you want. Just make sure your hands are hanging out very gently, not pulling into the twist. Breathe, look over your right shoulder if you can. And then inhale through center, spine gets nice and tall. Exhale, a little twist over to the left, same thing. Just looking over left shoulder if you can. Shoulders relax, spine stays tall. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the left. One more time. Inhale through center. Keep your spine very tall. Reach for the ceiling. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale through center. Bend the elbows, come to cactus arms. Shoulder blades coming together. Elbows are bent at 90 degrees. Bring your hands down, palms facing down, as low as you can. If you can't get all the way down, that's fine. Try and make sure your shoulders aren't coming up. So if you can only come down halfway, totally okay. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, palms down. Shoulder blades stay steady, so see how far you can get with this. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then release the arms. Bring both arms behind you. You can bring to tented fingers. Try and get your pinkies close together. Lift your chest toward the ceiling. Nose can come up a little bit as well, as long as your head isn't coming all the way back. If you feel like you can't breathe, you've gone too far. Just lift the chest a little bit, lift the nose. Breathe into the fronts of your shoulders. And then walk your hands in front. Switch the cross of your legs or ankles. Whichever one was underneath, bring it on top. Arms are going to come right out to the side again. Shoulder blades back and together. This time, open up the palms towards the ceiling. Lift the nose, maybe a little bit of a back bend here as you inhale. You can bend the elbows if you want to. Exhale, palms facing down, chin tucks into chest, maybe a little rounding in the upper back. Like a half cat-cow here. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open, slight back bend. If you want it, really reach the fingers up. Exhale, right hand on top as you come, give yourself a big hug. Lift the elbows here, maybe a little bit of that back bend as you inhale. Exhale, just bring it all in, curl, still hugging yourself. Inhale, open everything up again. Palms facing up, maybe looking up, maybe a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, left arm on top, give yourself a big hug. Neutral spine just for now. Inhale, lift the elbows, maybe look up, maybe a little bit of that back bend. Exhale, curl it all in, still giving yourself a hug. Inhale, come back up to neutral, open the palms. And exhale, palms facing down. Release the hands to the mat. Uncross your feet or ankles, whichever you were crossing. And windshield wiper the knees. So just warming up the hips a little. If you want a little bit more and you have more flexibility, you can absolutely do the bigger version with the big twists. A little more active, totally depends on your range and abilities. You can still use your hands to guide yourself going through, as long as it feels okay for the back. Whichever windshield wipers you're doing, a couple more versions, and a couple more reps, I guess, per side. Active version is always really fun. Like, here we go. You get like a little bit of an extra twist, a little bit more for the shoulders here because your arms are up. And I am scooting forward off my mat. So you will travel, totally okay. All right, to all fours. Not basketball, traveling is allowed. And we're just gonna come to stretch the calves first. So right side, bring the toes out, trying to spike that right heel down towards the mat. If you can get it to touch, great. I can't. Don't worry about it. Want, again, really pressing the fingertips into the mat. Maybe use your hands to saw a little bit back and forth. Trying to keep the weight off of the lower body. Trying to use a little more activation in the upper body. Lots of strengthening for forearm flexors here. And the weight in the fingertips, not the wrist. You want your weight a little bit more in the fingertips, like you're clawing the mat. Not so much in the wrist here. That's going to cause some compression and pain. I will say this every time because someone will always forget. Sometimes it's me. Okay, switch. Stretching out left calf. And you can do static stretch or sawing back and forth. Whatever you like, it's your stretch. Super tight, maybe just hang out there. And that's where the brain questions, why and what? What did I do to make my calves so tight? Why? Why must they do this to me? I don't know. All right, coming back to our fours, coming to our shoulders, left hand to the mat, inhale, the right hand up. Do two versions of this. Exhale, right hand to lower back. Back of the hand to your lower back, right palm facing out. Inhale, lift the right arm up. And exhale, dive it under left shoulder. Bringing right ear down to the mat. Watch the hips, make sure they don't drift. Inhale, lift the left arm up from here, palm facing forward. Turn the palm away as you exhale, left hand, back of hand to lower back. Messing up already. Inhale, lift the left hand again. Exhale, bring it to the lower, to the mat. Inhale, unwind, stretching out the right hand. Exhale, back of right hand to lower back. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, all fours. Switching, right hand to the mat. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale, turn back of left hand to lower back. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, dive under. The left hand to mat, watch your hips. Tricky little hips. Inhale, lift the right hand up. Exhale, back of right hand to lower back. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale, right hand to the mat. Unwind here, press into the right fingertips. Inhale, left hand up. And exhale, left hand to lower back. If you can reach, again, whatever your preference is. Inhale, reach, left hand. Exhale, hand to mat. Coming into the actual stretch version, inhale, right arm up. And right away, dive it underneath the left arm. Right hand to the mat. And just feel the stretch in your upper back. You can absolutely still lift that left hand and bring it to the lower back if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just hang out. Just making sure your hips feel them. They might be drifting off to one side. They might be cheating. And pull your left hip back just a tiny little bit. And then we'll unwind, press all of the fingertips from your left hand into the mat as you inhale, come up, stretch with the right hand. Exhale, all fours. Other side, inhale, left arm up. Exhale, dive under. Check your hips, they might be curling in. Pull your right hip back if it's drifting forward. Option to bring the right hand to the lower back again, or your left side flank, or you can even reach around and grab left leg. That's a lot of flexibility. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Right hand back to the mat, press the right fingertips in, inhale, stretch all the way up. Exhale, back to all fours. Sit back on your heels or your feet. One stretch for child's pose here, reaching the hands forward. Forehead comes to mat. Big inhale, breathe into your lower back. Exhale out through the mouth. Walk your hands over to the right side of your mat, feeling a little bit of a stretch along the left side. Breathe into the left side of you. Lower back, shoulder, and sigh. Walk your hands over to the left. Breathe into the right side of you. Shoulder, lower back, hip. And exhale. Walk your hands back towards center. One inhale, exhale, round here in your child's pose, breathing into both sides of the lower back, the hips, the shoulders. And sigh. Walk the hands back just a tiny little bit, maybe lift the head first. Plant your hands on the mat. Really grip with your fingertips as you pull yourself back up to all fours. And bring your right foot forward, coming into our lunge. So 90-90 lunge first, the 90-degree lunge. If you have something to hold on to, this is the time. Coming up to that lunge position, feeling the stretch in the front of the left hip flexor. If you need a little bit more here, inhale, lift that left hand up. And really try and get that oppositional force from the left knee and the left hand. Stretching yourself out in the middle. Very slight pelvic tilt, anterior pelvic tilt. Oh, posterior pelvic tilt, sorry. You know how to tilt your pelvis backwards. You're doing the opposite, tilting it just a little bit forward to get a little bit of that extra stretch. If you want to do the side bend here as well, you can absolutely side bend over to the right. You do not have to. Come back through center, hands down to the mat. Gonna switch right away, left foot comes forward. Your 90-90 lunge on this side. If you need to turn around because you are like me and you only have a wall on one side, absolutely, turn around. Get yourself in proper position. Inhale, lift the right arm up. This time, finding that oppositional force with right hand and right knee. Stretching yourself out through the middle, little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt, just tucking your pelvis under a little. And maybe a little side bend over to the left. Really feel that stretch in the right side hip, maybe in the back, maybe in the shoulder. If it hurts, do less. If it's a slight discomfort, that's okay. If anything tingles, stop. Coming back through center, hands to the mat. Right foot forward, coming into our ham rocks. If you're doing them on the ground, remember from previous classes, inhale to come forward. Hands can be up if you want them to when you get here. Exhale, rocking back to stretch hamstring. If you want to do the standing version today, which you can totally do in public places without getting onto the floor, find a triangular stance, so you'll look like a little triangle from the side. Back foot can be either facing forward, or it can face the left, because the right foot is forward. So it can face the left top corner of your mat, so it's just turned out a tiny little bit. It's up to you, depending on what your hip and knee on that left side like. Pulling your right hip back, Hands can be on the hips if you need them to be. You can also hold on to whatever wall you need. So coming into that lunge first, for the left side hip flexor stretch. You can inhale, lift the arms up if you want to, maybe just one arm. Exhale, straighten the front knee, pull the left hip back, reach forward like you're trying to find something in the fog, and it's right here. So this is a lot more of an active stretch than what we were doing on the ground. You're really going to be pressing in the base of your first big toe. That's going to give you that stability and a little bit more of that pressure in the back of the leg to release the hamstring. So it's inhale to hip flexor stretch. Exhale, hamstring stretch. Remembering to keep your back straight. You don't want to bend in the back. You don't want to bend in the spine. It's the pelvis that's doing the movement. The back moves because it's attached to the pelvis. Right here. It's glued, stuck. Whichever version you are in, find your preferred stance. Inhale, hip flexor stretch. Exhale, pull that right hip back, hamstring stretch. Inhale, coming forward, left hip flexor stretch. Exhale, straightening the front knee, hamstring stretch. Inhale, hip flexor stretch. Exhale, hamstring stretch. One more time, inhale, hip flexor stretch on the left side. Exhale, hamstring stretch right side. Back through neutral, switch legs. The left leg is going to come forward, the right leg is going to come backward. Whichever version you did on the first side, try and do the same version on the second side. So if you're trying the standing version today and you decide you don't love it, at least try it on both sides before you write it off. And then you don't have to do it in any other class after this. So find your triangle here. Remember, butt cheek test. If you can see a butt cheek on your back leg, your hips are off. Pull that butt cheek forward and pull the front leg back. It should be even. Feel your hip bones in the front here. If they're even, if you can tell, yes, this is where they should be, then you're good. So this is where hands on hips can be really helpful. Try and keep your back leg straight if you're standing. Bend the front knee. Inhale to hip flexor stretch. Whichever version you're in, you'll be feeling this right hip flexor stretch. Exhale, hamstring stretch. Really pulling that left hip back. Bend the front knee. Inhale, hip flexor stretch on the right. Exhale, left hamstring stretch. Inhale, right hip flexor stretch. Caught myself. Exhale, left hamstring stretch. Like a tongue twister, but it's not. One more time. Inhale, right hip flexor. Exhale, left hamstring. Coming back to neutral and coming back to all fours, realistically. If your back is feeling a little bit tense, don't worry, we're doing cat-cows now, because it'll help realign. So coming to your all fours position, plant your fingertips. Inhale, bring your belly down, lift the head, or lift the nose rather. Exhale, bring your belly button up. Pelvis tucks under, head comes under. Inhale, cow belly. This is where you get that nice pelvic tilt. Everyone knows how to stick the butt out at least. Exhale, cat back, pelvis tucks under. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And one more while we're here, why not? Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to neutral spine. Look behind you at your left hip. Look around the other side to your right hip. I think I'm opposite. That's fine. 3 times here. Look at your first hip again. And then your second hip again. One more time, just coming into this little side curve. And back. Coming back to neutral, we're gonna try a little bit of a supported side plank. If you're not feeling up to it, totally okay. We're gonna bring my right foot just off the side of the right side of the mat a little bit. You can absolutely come onto fist on your right side. I'm gonna stick my left foot out, make sure my right shoulder is over top of my right wrist. And I come to this side plank position here. So this one can be a little bit tougher for the lower back and hips if you're not feeling it. You should theoretically be in one line. So right hand, right knee, left foot. If you're having stability problems, you can absolutely bring that left foot a little bit forward, give yourself a little bit of a triangle. Definitely more stable. Lifting up left hand here. Really keeping your core engaged, imagining like your stomach is gonna sink, like you're gonna make this kind of a shape if you're not engaged. Really try and bring your core up. So you're really trying to bring the inside here to contract your right side. Come to a straight-ish line. Press away from the mat with your right side shoulder. If it feels okay to look up towards the left hand, you absolutely can, but you don't have to. And then release to come back to all fours to take the other side. I will shift so you can see it from another angle. Starting from here, left foot is gonna come out just a little bit off the side of the left side of mat. I'm imagining my mat is here. Roll onto left shoulder, right above left wrist, in line with left knee and my right foot. That's my left foot that you can see there. You can't see the rest of me because I'm in line, but if I'm feeling really unstable, I can bring my right foot a little bit forward. And then I have my little triangle. I don't know what kind of triangle that is. I think it's a isosceles, perhaps. It's not a cube triangle. Anyways, all that trouble I went to in school, and I can't remember my triangles. Really lift, use your abdominals here, use your obliques, your side core. Make sure you're not falling down or not London Bridge or any bridge, realistically. Okay, and then come back to your all fours again and come through to lie down. Doesn't matter which way you're lying down. Pick a side. I'm going this way today. I'm doing left side first. So bottom knee and bottom arm bent, top leg and top arm stretched out. You can absolutely lift them up first. If you're feeling really extra today, see how high you can get them. That's a little much for me in the hip. And then stretch it out. Just letting that whole right side relax with gravity. Especially after doing side plank. We made the side work. Now we get to let it relax. You can keep a little bit of active stretch here if you want to through that right hand and right foot. Still keeping them on the ground relatively chill, but just as though you're very gently reaching for something just out of reach. Maybe you're just trying to get the remote or your phone, maybe just with your foot or hand, it's just out of reach. You can still feel a little bit active. And then release. Let all those muscles relax. And bring the right arm up in front of you. Use it to support you as you come up to sitting. Oh, look, we're here again. Bring right hand towards left foot. You can use fist, you can use palm. Just give your foot a little bit of pressure. Lift the left arm up and come into a side bend here. We're really grounding down through the left hip. Hips are going to be a little bit off here. So your left hip is going to be dropped a little bit lower. It's going to give you a little bit more of a side stretch in that hip. And then left hand down. Switch legs around to the other side. I come to lie down on my right side. If I'm correct. I think so. Opposite side, whatever side we didn't do. Bottom leg and bottom arm bent. Top leg, top arm straight. If you want to be extra about it, see how high you can lift that leg. And then let it all stretch out. Again, if you want to, just a little bit of that activation, reach for something just out of reach of your fingertips, maybe just out of reach with your toes, maybe your keys. Just trying to get in that key ring. It's right there. It's right there. You can stretch, you can feel it, and then release. Breathe, relax the whole left side. And then bring your left hand to the mat. Use it to push yourself up. Same thing on this hand. Side. Same thing on this hand, she says. Left hand coming to the top of your right foot. Inhale, lift the right hand up. And a little side bend over to the right. So you're going to feel this a little bit more in the right side, lower back, hip region. Notice if you're more tight on one side of your lower back and hip than you are on the other. Don't worry about it. Just notice it. You can also move your wrist around if you want to. Wave, blue, or you can relax. And breathe. Back, your center. We're going to go ahead and lie all the way back down onto our backs. Woo, however you get there. Stretch your arms up over your head, stretch your legs all the way down. And again, reaching to opposite sides, just finding that whole stretch here. Reach through your heels and reach through your fingers. So you don't have to reach through your toes. Reach through the heel. It's going to activate the whole back line. And release. Bend your knees, bring your feet towards the mat. Hands can stay out to either side if they want to. They can come down, give yourself a little bit of support. If you have some lower back issues, I definitely recommend bringing hands down on either side of the hips. And we're going to slide right foot out very gently as you inhale. Bring that leg straight. Exhale, slide it back up. Left side, inhale, slide the heel out. Really feel your belly button pressing down towards the mat, towards your lower spine. Exhale, bring it back up. Curling my mat. 2 more times, either side. Inhale, slide the right foot out, or the heel rather. Exhale, slide it back. Feel that core contraction, really strong here. Inhale, slide left heel out. Exhale, slide left foot in. Inhale, right foot. You can use your hands to give yourself a little bit of pressure, a little bit more stability. Exhale, right foot comes back up. Inhale, left foot out. Exhale, left foot back in. Everybody, hands down by your hips. Make sure your heels are just a little bit out of reach of your fingertips. Little bridge here. Engage the glutes. Lift the hips up off of the mat or the floor or the carpet, just a little, and settle them back down slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. Glutes are the last thing to stop contracting. Your glutes are your best friend, in my opinion, especially if you have back pain. Inhale, stretch the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, bring them back down towards your hips. This time, tuck your chin into your chest. Maybe lift your head up. Really feel that core contraction if you're lifting your head. And relax. Again, press the hands into the mat. Squeeze your glutes, lift your hips. Maybe they come a little bit higher. Try and keep your back relaxed. Slowly let 1 vertebrae at a time come back down to the mat. Keep your glutes nice and engaged until the very last second. You don't necessarily have to move the breath here. Slower is better. So if you can't breathe as slow as you need to, that's okay. Don't worry about the breathing when you're doing bridges. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. This one should be a little easier. Exhale, curl it in again. Hands coming back towards hips. Tuck the chin into the chest. Maybe rise up, maybe reach for the knees, and then relax. Again, press hands into the mat, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips, maybe try and get your pelvis towards the ceiling. If you can get it even higher than you did before, fantastic. Slowly let your lumbar spine down. Keep breathing in whatever breath pattern you need to make this as slow as possible. There we go. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, bring the hands back down, crunch, reach for the knees if you can, chin in towards your chest. Maybe the shoulders come all the way up. Maybe you're actually doing a full crunch and release. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, reach for the knees, little crunch. And relax. One more inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, reach for the knees, crunch if you can. This time, if you reach, let your fingertips trail along down your thighs up towards your hip creases. Let your hands rest right in the hip creases here. So you can feel that bone, the bone that tells you if your hips are straight or in line or not. And just leave your palms just on top. So your fingers are going to come in a little bit. They might be just below the belly button here. They might still be, they can point diagonally or towards each other. But fingertips are going to be inside the hip creases. And we're going to breathe into our lower abdomen. So same as we did sitting, inhale into your fingers first. And then let your ribs fill up. Exhale from the top down, ribs empty first. And then the air from your abdomen. Feel that little core contraction right at the end of that exhale. Big inhale in through the nose. Exhale like you're blowing out the candle. One more big inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Hands come underneath the hips. Squeeze the glutes. Lift your hips up as high as you can. And very slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Coming back down. Whatever breath pattern you need. And bring your right knee in towards your chest. If you can hold on to it, great. Try and bring the right knee towards right shoulder a little bit more. Feeling a little bit more of a stretch maybe in the hip, in the right side glute. You might feel it in the lower back. You might feel it in the hamstring. Totally okay. And then draw little circles with the right knee. Or as big a circle as you feel comfortable. It doesn't have to be super small. And then the other way, if you have not already switched. And let the right foot back down. Make sure your heels are just out of reach of your fingertips. Hands underneath hips. Another glute bridge. Squeeze your glutes, lift your hips, get your pelvis up toward the ceiling. And then release one vertebrae at a time. All the way back down. Thanks, glutes. You're doing great. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Same thing on this side. Just feel the little stretch first. Left knee in line with left shoulder if you can. This way you also don't have to bring your leg right on top of your stomach, especially if you're like me and you always eat too much before you do yoga. Get a little stomach space. Maybe even move your stomach out of the way if your thigh is bumping into it. Totally okay. Body, gotta move. Little knee circles on this left side. As big a circle as you feel comfortable. Getting those hips moving. Circle the other way. And bring the left foot back down towards the mat. Make sure both of your heels are just out of reach of your fingertips. Yes, we're doing it again. Hands to the mat, squeeze your glutes, come up into your glute bridge here. And slowly release. Trying to keep your back relaxed. Trying to let your glutes do the movement for you. The back is gonna want to get involved. Back should not be involved. All right, bring both knees in towards your chest. This time they can come straight forward. You can have a little bit of space between them. Knees can come towards shoulders, individual sides. And point and flex the feet. Bring toes toward knees and then pushing them away. Toes up towards knees and little ballerina point. You might even, if your hands are on your shins, if you can reach your shins here, you might feel some of those muscles contracting underneath your hands. How cool is that? Very, I'm answering myself. Okay, ankle circles while we're here. The wrist circles too, if you don't need to actually hold your legs in place. Just getting everything moving a little. Circle the other way. We didn't point and flex the hands, so we can do that now. We can point and flex the feet again, because they don't mind. Do this every day. All right, now as best as you are able, straighten your knees, bring your feet up towards the ceiling. If you can get to this 90-degree L shape, that's the goal. If you can't, knees can absolutely be bent. Try and keep your feet over top of your hips for right now. We're not doing anything too fancy here. Just get yourself to the point where you can feel a stretch in the hamstrings, or at least you really legitimately cannot straighten anymore, and then point and flex the toes from here. You might really feel that in the calves. You might feel it more in the hamstrings. Your knees might have to bend a little bit more if you're really feeling it in the hamstrings. Totally okay. While you're here, take the opportunity to check the length of your legs. Notice, oops, I'm a little short today. Just, you know, I can tell my knees are at different lengths, so I've shortened up. Okay. Feet towards the mat, feet on the mat. Make sure your heels are just out of distance of your fingertips. Again, squeeze the glutes. This time we're gonna hold. So however high you can get your hips, if you can get your pelvis really reaching towards the ceiling, really press into the mat with your hands, with your shoulders, with your feet, with your toes. Not so much the back of the head. Back of the head is kind of just there. And breathe. Try and hold this static position. Again, try to keep the back fairly relaxed. Try to use your glutes for this whole movement. This hinge is the most powerful hinge, in my opinion, arguably, debatably, today. And then very, very slowly, try and do it like it is a contest. Getting your vertebrae back down to the mat slowly. So very, very gently releasing the glute engagement as you lower your hips back down. One fiber at a time. Good job, glutes. And when you get all the way back down, a couple windshield wipers here, bringing the knees to one side and then the other side. Loosening up said hips again, trying to get any tension out that might have come along by accident when we're doing those bridges. Sometimes the back tries to help. It's trying to help, so that's fine. Whenever your body does something funny without your permission, it's trying to help you. So say thank you for trying. Appreciate you. Good job, body. And then we'll come to stretch our glutes. We're done with the glute bridges. Relax. Right ankle over top of left knee. Reach forward if you can. Grab behind the left thigh, just underneath the knee, and pull left knee towards left shoulder. Stretching right side, hip, glute, hamstring, maybe. If you're having trouble reaching around and actually getting this thigh, you can use a strap. I have a towel today to thread around your left thigh and use that maybe to hold on to pull instead. That's what I'm doing, theoretically. So just in case you're way over here, you can maybe get a partner to grab onto your towel and grab your leg. Yonder, the partner would be over here. It's a little work for them, but you know, if they really appreciate you as a person, they'll do it for you, right? All right, time to switch. Left ankle or right knee. Reaching through, if you can, to grab behind right thigh and bringing right knee towards right shoulder. Remembering to flex the toes of your bent leg. What am I talking about? Both legs are bent. Flex both of your toes towards your knees. Less complicated that way. Breathe now into your left hip. If your hips are really coming up off of the ground, just reset. And then very, very gently make sure that that right knee is coming towards right shoulder. If right knee is starting to drift off towards the side, your right hip will start to come up off the mat. Both hips should still be in relative contact with the ground. And release. Slowly roll over to come up to sitting. We'll come to our cobbler's position first. Short adductor stretch, butterfly, flap your little butterfly wings. You can hold on. Wow. You can hold on to your toes. You can hold on to your ankles, whatever works for you. Okay. And then release. Maybe holding onto the toes, maybe leaning a little bit forward. Again, trying to lean with the full back. Pelvis tilts. Back moves because it must. From here, if your knees are really, really high and you feel like you don't have a lot of space, you can absolutely use forearm. Wow, I am like all one color. I just realized. Using the inside of your forearms or elbows to press a little bit against the insides of your knees. You can actually, instead of just pressing down passively, give yourself a little bit of resistance, like you're trying to close your knees. Trying to close your knees up like a book. Just give yourself a little bit of pressure. And then release. And then see if you can maybe drop a little bit further down. That's a very dramatic drop. That won't happen for you. This is where I am normally. So for me, it would be here. Should have just pretended, be like, ooh, magic. No, I'm just kidding. And then I get a little bit more. It's still kind of dramatic. All right, coming up out of this stretch, coming to a wide-legged stance. As wide as you can get while trying to keep your knees as straight as possible. This might be just here for you. Totally okay if your knees are bent for right now. We're gonna bring hands, palms facing forward. Curl the fingers underneath, bring the backs of the hands to the mat, and just coming into a little bit of a stretch for forearm extensors. You might just feel it on the back of the wrist. Trying to get some small muscles today. Doesn't have to be a lot of pressure. Absolutely does not have to be a lot of pressure. And release. Palms facing forward again. Spread your fingers wide. Turn your fingers so that they point down. Palms are still facing forward. We're going to come to stretch forearm flexors. Bringing hands, fingers towards the mat. And leaning a little bit forward. If you need to come up onto your heels and sit in order to get into this position, absolutely okay to do that as well. And then we'll just go back to sitting after. That's okay. Just stretching flexors now. Again, I have a lot of range. Don't worry about it. You might be somewhere here. Absolutely. You might feel it in the wrist. You might feel it up the forearm here. If you feel tingling, stop and send me an email after class. If you feel pain, stop, send me an email after class. That's just my mantra now. Okay, coming out of that stretch. Coming back to our wide-legged stance. There we go. Unless you were still there, then you're just hanging out, waiting for you. Delightful. You're ahead of the game. See if you can get the backs of your thighs down towards the mat. We're going to do a little bit of arms again while we're here. Left hand to your lower back, right hand to the head. See if you can touch. If you can't, that's okay. If this is your range, stay here. Right hand is going to face forward, palm face forward. Left hand, palm is facing backwards, away from you. So the palm will come to the back of the head for the right hand, back of left hand towards lower back. If you can get your hands to touch without doing some kind of funny neck and shoulder thing, then get them to touch. If you have to do a funny neck and shoulder thing, don't do it. Really ground down with the backs of the thighs. Still very active through the legs here. Like you're using that pressure, you're using that force from your hamstrings to sit up taller. Look, a lesson in posture. Bing. Okay, release the hands. Switch. Bing. I'm a search engine. Back of the right hand towards your lower back. Palm facing out. Left hand, palm facing forward to the back of your head. See if you can very gently get your hands to touch. Again, if you have to do some funny wiggling, it's not worth it. Breathe. Sit up straight. Press your hamstrings into the mat. If you can, if your knees are bent, imagine you're pressing your hamstrings into the mat. Release the arms. Tilt your pelvis back. That posterior tilt, like you're trying to stick your butt out, butt your head. This is all connected, so when your pelvis tilts, it doesn't just tilt independently. Your spine is going to come with. So in that forward fold, the wide-legged seated fold, try and rotate your pelvis forward. See if that gives you a little bit more lean. And then you're really going to feel it in hamstrings. You're really going to feel it in the sides of the thighs here, adductors. Use your hands to support yourself. And breathe. Big inhale through the nose. Sigh out the mouth. Two more, just like that. Big inhale through the nose. Sigh out the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Walk out of your stretch, coming back to a comfortable sitting position. Sitting on a chair or couch if you like. Or staying on the floor. We like floor. Padma Mudra, bringing pinkies, thumbs, and the bottom of your wrist together, keeping your middle three fingers open, making lotus. Bringing it in front of the heart. Big inhale here. And sigh. And just take a moment, think about the things that worked, think about the things that didn't. and thank your body for trying. Thank your body for doing its best to help. And if your brain needs to pick up the what, where, who, why, hows, whoever's, that's cool. It can pick them back up now. Or maybe it'll give you a break for another couple of minutes. You can stay here in this meditative posture here. You can lie down, take a shavasana. You can go to bed, go to sleep. In the coming weeks, we're going to do a little bit more of the active stretching. We're going to be moving a little bit more, and then we'll be doing a little bit more restorative. So bring pillows or towels, blankets, because we will end lying down. Don't plan on doing anything after yoga class the next 4 weeks. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Stay hydrated, stay warm, and I'll see you next week.